Owners of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's the Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, hosting today, and next to me, Jade.
Man, this is a colossal event, Rachel.
This is a treat. I'm pumped about this.
Me too.
That we're going to spend 3 hours together, America, answering your calls. So everything about your money, your life, your relationships, your job, anything and everything, Jade and I are here for you. So I thought it'd be fun to start off this hour, Jade. I kind of just want to make this like a ladies' theme hour.
Just say it. I know you want to say girl power.
Girl power. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, so let's make this kind of a ladies' themed hour.
Yeah.
Because we're both here hosting. This doesn't always happen. I feel like we always have like one of the dudes in here with us.
Yes.
So we're going to just kind of take over for this hour. And even if you're a guy listening, you probably have a wife or a girlfriend or a mother or a sister. You can learn something.
Hashtag relatable.
That's right, for what we have to give today. So,
yes.
So one of the biggest things that I feel like recently I have been hearing about women is pink tax.
Oh my gosh.
Have you heard all about it?
Of course. I'm spending my money on it.
I know. That's right. We are living in the pink tax world. Okay, so those of you that don't know what pink tax is, the pink tax is a term for the extra amount of money charged for certain products or services that are specifically marketed towards female consumers. The general products, such as razors or deodorants, can be used by both men and women, but the items marketed towards women are more expensive. The pink tax causes women to pay more for similar or identical products that dudes use and wear and all the things.
Yeah. It's weird because I knew it existed, but it wasn't until I read this article that I realized how much. 13% more.
On average, yes.
And some of them 25% more.
And it's like the deodorant's pretty much the same, but you put a little flour on it, and then we got to like spend more money because of that. I mean, it is crazy. Okay,
what does this mean?
I will say, George Camel and I, we kind of dug into this subject in an upcoming episode of our podcast, Smart Money Happy Hour. And as I was looking, I was like, man, I don't think I even took notice. If I were to be honest, Jade, I don't know if I really knew. But now that I know, now that the veil has been lifted from my eyes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I look everywhere. I'm like, it is.
It's so true. I notice it on like body wash because I'll go and like order what I like for me and then I'll order what Sam likes. Razors.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
And I bet dudes' razors are even better.
They are.
I would think.
Honestly, sometimes I would rather use my husband's, but because they're in that blue and silver packaging, I go for mine that are in like the cute little pink pack. I like it. I like the way it's packaged. What can I say?
So, I guess pink tax, I guess it kind of goes under, we always talk about control what you can control in life. We can't control, sadly, we can't. I don't know how, we can control what we buy. We could buy dude's deodorant and it'd be cheaper and save some money. So we have control over that.
Yeah.
But
or buy like one product and decide that you're just both going to use that. Like we stopped buying like lotion for him, lotion for her, and we just buy one.
Yes. And there you go.
There you go.
I know. So ladies out there.
Plus my husband barely uses the lotion, which let's just say that's a problem in and of itself. Moisturize your skin, people. Everyone needs lotion. Okay.
Always, always, always.
I digress.
Oh, okay. So we're going to go to the calls this hour. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And first up, we have Leanne in Brooklyn. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hello.
What's going on?
What's going on, ladies? So we started the baby steps about a month and a half ago, and we owe my uncle $11,000 in rent, and we started paying the credit cards, but I think that this should come first. So I said this to my husband, and he said, "Ask Dave Ramsey and let's find out what you guys say."
And here you are.
Because he's skeptical about it.
Yeah, for sure. So how much credit card debt do you guys have?
Credit cards, not like $15,000.
$15,000, okay.
Altogether,
yeah.
Not much. We really, not that bad. But we have car loans, too.
Okay, and how much are those?
10 and 25.
10 and 25,000, okay. Well, and how many credit cards are in that $12,000 credit card debt? I know you said total, but how many separate are there?
There's a bunch of some little ones. There's some little ones and one big one.
Okay.
So it's maybe 4.
How is your uncle treating you about that debt? Like, what's his?
Awful. He's not talking to us.
Oh gosh, how long has it been? How long have you owed him this money?
I mean, the rent isn't even that much. It's really, we like didn't pay him for almost a year.
Why
but
was
as soon
that?
as we read the book, we started paying him again. Like last month, we paid him. We're budgeting for it now. It shouldn't be a problem at all from now on. But now, and he was nice to us for a long time. But just the last, I don't know how many months it's been that he hasn't been talking to us.
And specifically
And
because of the rent.
everything.
Correct. You guys are not having communication because of the rent, not because of another issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's it.
Okay.
What's your communication been towards him? I know you said he's kind of been ugly about it. What's been your attitude towards the debt throughout that year that you weren't able to pay it?
I mean, I always assumed, oh, next month we'll figure it out. Oh, I can't believe how much time went by.
Yeah.
And I was always saying to my husband, I was like, it's not even that much money. We have to figure it out. And it was always like, well, you tell me how. We really were lost until we read the book.
Yeah, for sure. Leanne, have you guys, I know you're not speaking now, but has there been any conversation from your end with just kind of some humility and apology and wanting to make right with him? Has there been that conversation?
I do. I tell him what we're doing now, and how I do tell him. He knows that I'm sorry.
Okay.
He knows that I feel bad and that I want us to do things together. We usually do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dinners and whatever. And
sure.
My kids love him so much, and they miss him, and it's hard.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when a relationship is fractured in the middle of money stress as well, I mean, that adds on, and that it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. It's interesting. If it were me, in every other circumstance, Rachel, I'm going to go through and work the debt snowball and pay things off. In a situation where there's family involved, maybe there's a relationship there, it could be worth going and paying that one first, $11,000. What would you say to that?
Yeah, you could. And Leanne, what I would even do, if you feel comfortable with it, if you guys want to do kind of the rigid way of the debt snowball, because I think for you guys as a family, your nuclear family, getting some quick wins of these like kind of small credit card debts, that she was saying, getting kind of some of those quick wins under your belt will give you a boost of confidence. And there's even something, Leanne, I would even write out all of your debts. We say to do that for the debt snowball, smallest to largest. Every credit card, don't lump it into one. Do very specific credit cards, 2 different car payments, this $11,000 loan. Put payments below that of minimum payments of what that's going to be, and then how much extra you guys can throw at the debt, and build out this plan. And maybe if you communicate that to him and say, hey, here's the time frame.
So important.
By, what are we in? January. So just say by August or whatever it is, we're going to start paying on this. And it's going like, here's our plan, here's what we're doing. I think just the communication part and showing him actual numbers and dates
absolutely
might help as well. And an apology, Leanne. I think too, like just a humble spirit from you guys, which I hear in you, I think will be very helpful. So I hope that helps. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 40% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com for more information.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. Up next is Elizabeth in Providence, Rhode Island. Hey, Elizabeth. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, about 5 weeks ago, my 16-month-old baby and I fled a domestic violence situation and had to relocate to another state and start over. Thankfully, we're safe now, but there's a whole financial situation going on. Obviously, my finances are in shambles. And right now, what I am trying to do as I'm beginning to work through the baby steps is figure out where buying a car and saving for a home falls into that process, as I have neither.
Yes.
Wow.
How are you doing, Elizabeth? I mean, that's intense. I mean, that's a traumatic thing that you've walked through.
Yes, it has been very intense, very stressful, and a lot of things I'm working through, you know, as a human.
Yes. Do you have good support around you?
I do have a couple of good friends and a couple of family members.
Good. Because your health and your safety is priority. So I'm thankful to hear that.
Absolutely. Where are you staying now?
With a friend.
Okay. Well, good on you for getting out of that situation.
Absolutely.
That's so difficult, especially with a 16-month-old baby. I can't begin to imagine how you're feeling right now, but, you've got this whole new horizon in front of you, and it's a whole clean new start. So,
Yes. There's a lot of hope. A lot of hope. Do you have a job, Elizabeth? Are you making any money?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
That's part of the issue.
Yeah. That's okay. Do you see that coming into play soon for you? Are you applying for jobs? Did you have work experience before?
Yes, I do have work experience. What I'm doing right now is I'm currently enrolled in a course that teaches you how to take pictures and videos for food bloggers. So I'll be a professional photographer from home, and I graduate in April. So
awesome.
that probably in May is when I'll start to be bringing in the money.
Yes.
Is there anything that you could start doing today in order to bring in some extra income?
If I could find something from home, yes, because unfortunately the friend I live with has a lot of diseases and illnesses, and she's extremely high risk. So to have to put my baby in daycare would be chancing my friend's safety and actual life. If my baby comes back with some kind of sickness or COVID, God forbid. So
okay.
I'm kind of hanging tight on state benefits until I have my own income.
How much is that?
The state is giving me $600 a month cash assistance, and then for food, $389.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about your debt situation, coming out of that relationship? What's your obligation to the debt? Tell us about that.
Well, I walked into that relationship with no debt except for about $4,000 in medical bills.
Okay.
And I walked out of it with $17,000 total debt. So that's $11,000 in credit cards, $5,000 medical bills, $2,000 in a program I'm paying off, a certification program I graduated from 2 years ago. So some of it's his, but unfortunately it's under my name. Mm-hmm. So I'm the one who has to pay it.
I think right now the name of the game is just survival. I think that you have, like Rachel said, you've come out of a very traumatic situation, and you just need some time to get your bearings under you. And for you right now, that's you going to school. It's you starting to have a stable income so that you're able to move out of the friend's house. And I think that's thing one, is getting some income in, whether that's, if there's anything you can do from home now. I'd hate for you to have to wait till April to start working. But,
yeah, because Elizabeth, I would say too, we talked to so many people on this show, and there's so many side hustles via just your computer, right? That the work from home stuff obviously is everywhere. But even if you can be a virtual assistant for 15 hours a week, you don't have to jump into a lot, but just to bring in some level of income to save, because your next big goal, is going to be to find somewhere to live. And then the second is to have transportation. Those two kind of have to happen, I would say, together if you can. And the transportation could be a $2,000 car,
Absolutely.
right? It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And even where you live, finding low rent. So look at this next step. It can be, for me, it would be easy to say I'm starting a new life. And because you've been in such an uncomfortable, insane situation, to jump into, I just want to feel comfortable. And so I would say to resist, Elizabeth, just those two big things, your car and where you live, that your car is not going to be the car that you're going to drive forever. So it's not going to be beautiful and wonderful, and that's okay for now. And then also where you live, it may not be in the part of town that is ideal for you, or whatever the situation is, but finding those expenses to be as low as possible as you're starting out, I think will be a really big blessing.
Okay. So you guys would recommend that before paying off any debt, because I know the payments are honestly very hefty. The cash assistance coming from the state isn't even enough to cover that.
I mean, if there's
So
minimum
you still
payments you can
recommend-
make. I mean, just minimum if you're able to make minimum payments, you definitely want to do that.
Yeah, stay current on that debt if you have it. Yep.
But as far as working a snowball or anything like that, I just don't think that you're in that place right now. I think right now, like I said, you're just getting your bearings. You're working on getting your income up, and then so that you can eventually save up enough to find another place, whether it be an apartment or something like that.
Yeah, Elizabeth, when we do a budget with people, we always say the first 4 main categories to make sure covered are food, shelter, utilities, and transportation. And so I kind of want to build those 4 walls of your new life before you go and start saving up for the emergency fund and the debt snowball and all of that. And so I think getting that stability under you, I think even just emotionally, Elizabeth, is gonna give you a breath of fresh air to say, okay, I'm starting this life, and you're gonna have a new schedule. You guys are gonna be in a new rhythm, you and your baby. And then that's when you're going to be able to say, okay, I'm in that stable place, and I'm ready to freaking attack this debt and get it out of my life forever. And you will, Elizabeth. I can hear that in your voice. You've survived.
Yes.
Again, one of the worst situations ever. And so this debt is going to be nothing. You're going to be able to knock it out. But I would get that foundation under you first.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, thank you for calling, Elizabeth. I really do. I appreciate you reaching out. And is there anything else that Jade and I can walk you through? Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. I think that answers my question.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thanks again for calling.
So tough. But she's such a survivor.
I
mean,
know.
look at her.
It's amazing.
I can't even put myself in that position of taking a 16-month-old baby out of a violent home, which is the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
But going with no place to live, no car, no money, more, debt.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you're going into a friend's, she's just such a hero right now. And I want her to hear that.
And Elizabeth, stay on the line. Austin's going to pick up, and we're going to give you Financial Peace University for a year and EveryDollar as well to start budgeting and watch those videos, because that's going to really reinforce, even from starting from that beginning point. Okay, so what am I doing? How do I start this? And so Financial Peace University really is one of the best things to walk you through that as well. So stay on the line, and Austin will pick up, and we'll give that to you. And actually, Austin, throw in a Total Money Makeover book as well, because that'll be a quick read. People read that in 2 days. It's a quick read. But again, Elizabeth, getting that knowledge and getting a community around you. So I'm glad that you have that. But even here at Ramsey, we consider ourselves people's community too. So so having books and podcasts and all of that is going to make you feel
And find a good church home. If you're not connected somewhere, I don't care what you believe. Church is great for everybody.
Yes.
Get around some community. Strong women out here, Rachel.
For sure. Oh, yeah, Jade. I mean, it's a lot of life happening, and all of you listeners out there, everyone's in a different situation, different struggles, different points of celebration in life. But money always seems to be a thread that runs right through people's lives. So that is why we are here. Again, a free call anywhere at 888-825-5225. We'll be back.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. We are doing kind of a ladies theme hour because Jade and I are hosting the show today. So we've been getting some calls from some of you ladies and gentlemen out there listening. You know, you can learn something too. You probably have a lady in your life. So hopefully that this is all good stuff for you as well. All right, we're gonna go to the phones. And Courtney is up next from Grand Junction. Hey, Courtney, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, my question is relating to family planning while on the baby steps and seeing what the advice is for wanting to grow your family, but knowing that might mean going in debt to increase house size to accommodate.
So we're talking about needing more space to accommodate more children.
Yes.
Okay. So what's your living situation right now?
Well, right now, my husband and I have 2 young boys. We live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Mm-hmm.
We owe, it's a pretty humble sized house, and we owe $146,000 on it still.
Okay. What's it worth?
What's it worth? Well, right now, where real estate is at, where we are at, our home is valued at around over $300,000 with all the fixing up that we've done to it over the years.
Cool. What's your income like?
My husband makes just shy of $70,000.
Cool. And you're staying at home with the kiddos?
Yes.
Do you guys have any debt, Courtney?
We do. We have one, besides our home, we have a car loan that we are trying to crush out.
Sweet. What's the amount of that?
About 13.
All right. So not much debt to speak of. Do you guys have any money saved anywhere?
We do. We have more. We have about $4,000 saved. I'm not comfortable going down to $1,000 saved to put it towards the car loan, just how expensive everything is right now.
Why?
Oh, just because, I don't know, if anything were to happen, it doesn't seem like $1,000 would last a family of 4 very long in a true emergency. And actually, my family is going through a little thing right now because my husband had a medical incident, and he has been off of work for a few months, which has greatly reduced our income.
Okay.
His short-term disability is about 50% of what his normal pay is. So it's showing me how quick, $1,000 really could go if we, got into a tighter situation than what we are in.
Well, let me take a moment. Let me take a moment and debunk that for a moment, because I understand where you're coming from. But the thing that you've got to realize is most people have no money saved for emergencies. Like if an $1,000 emergency came, they would have to put it on a credit card because they don't have any cash saved. So the fact that you have money saved is a really great thing. And, in your situation, Courtney, it's actually, it's wonderful, because if you were to keep $1,000 saved for baby step 1, you could pay off that $13K car note in no time. Now, in the instance where, you have a job loss or something like that, you're able to pause the baby steps and get back on your feet. But, I do want you to see this as a plan that can work for you. You know, I know that your husband is going through something right now, but I don't, once the smoke clears on that, I don't want that to keep you from working the baby steps and getting to where you want to be. Because I agree with you. I think that as a family of 4, you want as much stability as possible. And I truly believe that working through this plan is going to get you on the most stable footing, because baby step 2 is going to get you completely out of debt. And then you're going to save up 3 to 6 months of expenses. In your case, 6 months of expenses, because it sounds like your husband is the only one working. And that means after that, you're able to save up for a home, and you're going into that new home purchase, whether it's selling the one you have and upgrading, you're going into that with completely firm footing and a firm foundation. Does that make sense?
It does. I do hear that.
Yeah, and I think, Courtney, for you, the question, that you asked for growing a family, I never want money to be the thing or stuff to be the thing that stops you from growing your family. So I would say grow your family. And I know this sounds crazy. People probably hate me for this, but I'm like, I swear our kids lived in a pack and play in a closet.
They don't care
for a good bit too. So I know that it's a small home, but I would not be under the impression. I understand it would be nice to have more room. For sure.
Absolutely.
And maybe you guys are at a point that you're like, you know what, another baby would stress us out. So let's just wait another 2 years, get some things under us. And as a family, that's how we decide. But we never tell people not to get married or not to expand their family because of their money situation. I think that is a very personal decision that you guys can make. And if you want to, and you are at a point you're like, I really want another baby, then do it, Courtney. You guys are going to figure it out. And you may have a few years where it's tight and you're like, oh my gosh, we got to pay off that car and we're going to save up for the emergency fund. It's going to give you that much more motivation, to then figure out the housing and say, okay, good. The house is maybe even worth a little bit more. And we're able to have a good down payment, and you keep it going. So this isn't a plan that's going to take you 10 years. Right. It's a plan that's going to take you maybe 36 months.
Absolutely.
And so I would say, Courtney, if you guys want to keep expanding a family, I would do it. But that doesn't mean you have to, go take on a bigger house, because you guys just aren't, I wouldn't say, in a great position to do that right this moment. I would, like Jade said, pay off the debts, have that good emergency fund in place, and then go from there. And I think that's just going to give you a lot less stress.
I think that we could be done with baby step 3 by the end of this year or early into the next year. And so at that point, what do you say about increasing your mortgage?
So the principle,
yeah, totally. I hear you. Yeah.
So the principle would remain the same. We teach that we don't want your mortgage payment to be any more than 25% of your take-home income. And that's all things considered, the insurance, the taxes, all things considered, no more than 25% of your take-home pay. And of course, we want you to get a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. How does that sound?
Yes, I understand that. Yes. Yep. I think that, yes.
Very good. And I can't stress enough, Courtney, because I don't think that I feel like you might be trying to go past it. Maybe I misread that, but I cannot stress enough. Please, please, please work these steps in order. They work. I could tell that you're like, now let me just see. What if I went ahead and did it like this? I beg of you not to do this thing. I'm telling you, work the steps in order. My husband and we tried it. I'm not trying to be
too much of a rebel, but it seems like if I can foresee crushing the car loan in the next, within the year, less than the year.
Oh yeah.
Then it's hard. Like I said, it's hard for me to want to let go of the little bit of extra savings that we have. I just kind of like to set it, just forget about it back there, just because, if you had to put your family up in a hotel for a week, that would be more than $1,000, and not having to go in debt to do it. But I'm new to hearing about the Baby Steps plan, and we've been listening to the audiobook, and I'm really compelled, and I'm really inspired, and I want to trust in it, and
trust it, Courtney. Trust it. Trust it. Millions of people use this plan to get out of debt, to save up money, to buy homes, to become baby steps millionaires. The plan, I tell people, the plan works if you work it. If you kind of do ish, like Dave says all the time, ish is a wish, and you'll be wishing that you had worked the plan the way the plan says. So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying work the plan in order. You can do what you want to do, but I think that you should work the plan in order. Baby step 1, 2, 3, 3B. That's what I would do.
Absolutely, Jade. Well said. Well said. But and to Courtney, I'm like, I totally get what you're thinking, right? If you've been in the viewpoint of money of the world, then it's like, well, of course, we'll get a bigger house and have a baby and expand and keep some money, all of it, right? Like I understand where you're coming from, Courtney, but part of this change is feeling the change, and the change is going to be uncomfortable. Any change is uncomfortable. It's not easy, but just I would say trust the process. And you know what, Courtney, if you get 18 months into this and you hate it, you can. There you go. It's a free world. You can say, I'm going broke. I'm not doing this anymore. But we really do believe it leads to freedom and stability. So good luck, Courtney. Thanks for calling. So Jade, our last caller, we talked through, some things about her wanting to expand her family and her home and all of that. But she did mention that her husband's income was cut in half because of a disability, and there was kind of this up in the air situation. So I think that what she had said was that they were coming out of that. So that's why we were a little bit gung-ho on it. But that's true. But for those of you listening, just know there is a storm mode, quote unquote, time in life, right? So that could be if you are, expecting a baby, if there's a medical emergency, if there's a big move coming up that we do say you can pause the baby steps and pile up some cash to get through those quote unquote storms. And then when those past things settle, you just jump right back in. Yeah. And so for her, if that medical situation was going to continue,
then she should keep the $4,000 sitting there.
That's right. Absolutely. But it sounded like she was coming out of it. That's why Jade and I were just on her.
I really wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to go into home buying mode and do all this stuff without working the baby steps.
Yes, for sure. So wanted to clarify that. But it's great because, again, that's a question and a situation that a lot of people are in. And because of the housing market and people's emotions around that, it can be this like wishy-washy feeling of, oh my gosh, our house is, it's gone up in value and not all of it. So great. Well, to finish out the last segment of Ladies Theme Hour, we have Tiffany in Vancouver. Hey, Tiffany, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, I'm on maternity leave right now, and I'm trying to figure out if it's a good time to start a business for me personally.
Oh, congratulations. What number baby is this for you?
Baby 2.
Baby 2. Okay, awesome. And how much of maternity leave do you have left?
Well, it's an 18-month leave, but my 12 months of money runs out in April.
Okay.
So I'll have this 6-month period where no money's coming in, but my job's waiting for me. And I think it's a good opportunity to start a business, but I'm also a little worried about expenses.
What kind of business are you thinking about starting?
Well, I'm a therapist. I'm a registered therapist, and I've done some private practice on the side for 5 years, but I'd like to make it a real thing. I'd like to have a solo practice that I start.
Yeah. So what would keep you from doing that? I like the idea. Tell me the pros and cons in your mind.
Pros and cons for me is during this 6 months where I don't have any money coming in, there's a little bit of a cushion, but not a ton. So, for example, if I don't get enough clients coming in, it'll take probably 1 month to 6 weeks before I start going in the red. And that seems like a really tight, not enough cushion there, really. So that's a concern. There's a little bit of overhead, not a bunch because we're going to be a virtual therapy practice, but I have to build a website, which is about $1,000, and I have $100 a month in software that I'll have to be doing. So not a ton of overhead, but a bit.
Was this something that you were interested in, like, prior to the pregnancy, or did this just come about as an idea recently?
Oh, no. This has been a long-term plan where I thought, okay, I planned it out to have this 6 months where I'm not at work so that I could build my practice. But now that it's approaching in April, I'm just starting to feel a little nervous that maybe I'm being foolish financially.
Tiffany, will you go back to your other job? Will this just be a temporary thing just to hold over and get some income in? Or do you think you're going to want to do this full time even after, your job opens back up?
Definitely want to do this full time eventually. One time a caller called in and they said, I want to jump out of the boat, but I need to build a lifeboat. Like I want to jump off the ship, build a lifeboat. And that's my plan. My main job, my full-time job that I'm on leave from, it's really quite stressful and it's not somewhere I want to be long term.
Okay.
And I do want to kind of build up my own situation so that I can transfer into that eventually.
Tiffany, are you the only one bringing in income in your home?
No, my husband has a good paying job, thankfully.
Okay, so when you said I'm going to go into the red, walk me through that. What do you mean? Does his income not support the home, or what's like the math around that?
It does. So we do pretty good. Our average income is about $11,000 a month, which isn't too bad. And I've been bringing in $4,000 on my leave per month.
Okay.
And then in April, that's the $4,000 is gone, and then daycare is about $1,000. I'll have to start paying for that. Mm-hmm. So that's $5,000. $4,000 gone, and then $1,000 extra. Mm-hmm. And then with our expenses are between $9,000 and $10,000 a month, and then but that could get trimmed down. I've really noticed we have a lot of lifestyle things.
Yes.
Kind of
I was going to ask if you're on a budget. Are you guys budgeting your money, or is this kind of just you pulling the figures out of?
No. I definitely we're budgeting. We actually paid off $100,000 in debt free by the house.
Congratulations!
Sweet.
Yeah, thank you. So that was 2 years ago, and we paid everything off, and it was a lot of effort and hard work. And then in the past 2 years, lifestyles crept up and up, and everyone's in gymnastics, and people do personal training, and we go out to restaurants more than we should. And so
do you have that 3 to 6 months?
It's light.
Okay.
We did have it, and then it got depleted a bit. So we have 16,000. So that should be higher for us for sure.
So here's what I want you to do. I really think you can tighten up this budget. And I think if you can tighten up the budget, and I think because you knew going into this that there was going to be that 6-month period where you weren't going to have money. And I love that you were thinking of a way to make money during that time. So I think that you should do it, because when I'm looking at the overhead, it's not a whole lot. And it sounds like if it was something that you were planning on getting to begin with, is it something where you can get as many clients as you can, or work, slowly getting in. And then if you don't have enough to support you long term, you can see those clients on the side and work your job while you build that business up to take the place of the full-time job?
It's true. I can. And I do have a contract that someone has offered me that I could do kind of short term. That would provide a little bit of money. It's not my full-time job. It's not my private, but it could provide a little bit of income while I'm building, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that as well, for sure. Yeah, I think, Tiffany, if you guys look and just say, okay, for the season, cutting back.
Yeah.
Because I think out of this, $9,000 to $10,000, you guys can cut a good bit.
You have no debt.
Yes. And to be able to say how many clients do I need to see a month to keep, or even that could be the game, right?
Yeah.
I always hate that, like cutting the lifestyle part of our plan. It's always when that hurts me, because it's just, I hate it. I'm like, I just want people to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Even though that it is a big part of the formula. But you could be able to say, Tiffany, hey, if I get, I don't even know, I'm making it up, 10 clients a month, it actually will support us, and we don't have to change a huge lifestyle change, and I can get this going. You could do both. But if you had to cut your lifestyle because there's not enough, you're going to survive. This isn't going to be a long-term life that you're cutting the gymnastics or the personal trainer, whatever it is. You can get back to that eventually, for sure. But just know if it comes down to cutting, that it's for short term. But maybe you can do the math and kind of figure out, okay, I can get enough clients, to support and continue on our life. And what a blessing to have that, that 18 months and to be able to say I get to go after what I want. So and the work that you do is incredible. I mean, people that help people go through life with therapy and counseling. It's a gift. It's a blessing. So
and people need it more than ever now. So.
Yes, I know. I'm excited for you, Tiffany. That's great.
Very good.
Yeah, I feel like for a lot of women, it's a interesting having a baby changes a lot, right? It changes your worldview. It changes your priorities. I mean, all of a sudden, kind of this whole other part of your heart and your life opens up. You're like, what? And so it's a great practice to kind of go through. So I love that even on maternity leave, she's like looking at a passion of hers of therapy and being a therapist.
I'm excited for her.
And seeing that pathway come through.
I'm excited for her. I think if she goes after it, she's going to be surprised at what she's going to be able to build in such a short period of time.
Yes. And it's great that she's not having to go buy a bunch of supplies and start a business that has a lot of overhead. You know what I mean? Like you're in a great position, Tiffany.
I love me a low overhead business.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you, Tiffany, so much for the call. Jade, always fun hosting.
Yes.
Love sitting next to you and all the guys in the booth. And thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, and hosting this hour with Ramsey personality Jade, actually our newest Ramsey personality. And so we are here to take your calls. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And if you're a new listener and you guys want to know more about the baby steps, we talk about the baby steps so much on this show, and you want to get started on those, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. From there, we're able to really figure out the next best steps for you based on your very specific situation, where you're at. So that's really one of the best ways to get started. We have so many new listeners through podcasts and YouTube and even radio still, and it's amazing that it can be overwhelming, right? When you listen to the show and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much. What do we do? So really, I would encourage you, new listeners out there, and even if you've been listening for a while and you haven't really jumped into this process, go to RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started. So we're going to the phones this hour. We're going to start off with Cody and Rochester. Hey, Cody, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How are you doing today?
We're doing good. Doing well. How can we help?
Yes, I was just calling to ask, and I've never heard this question before, but when it comes to debt, is it better to pay off your consumer debt first or future IRS debt first?
What do you mean when you say future IRS debts?
So what I'm saying is so I work full-time at a hospital, but I also do DoorDash on the side.
Uh-huh.
And because I have to pay in for taxes for this upcoming year, is it better to try to save up as much as you can to pay off that first, or pay the consumer debt by the time that taxes are due first?
Yeah. So whenever you have a job like that, that's 1099 or where you're responsible for the taxes, ideally you want to set aside a portion of that money each month for taxes. So I'm assuming you haven't done that yet. So it sounds like you're kind of playing catch up with that and trying to set that aside now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that for I have a car payment as well for debt.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes to a couple of credit cards and consumer, I know that I can have all that paid off by the time that I'd have to do my taxes for this year. But I just didn't know if it was better to save that money and try to put that towards IRS? Because I know they can charge you extra penalties and stuff for not paying it on time.
Yeah, I hear you, Cody. So saving for the taxes would be priority before paying off the debt, for sure. And even for all of you listening, if you have IRS debt in your debt snowball, we say to move that up as well and pay that off first. That's actually one of the only times we say to kind of go out of order of the debt snowball. So the IRS, so yes, Cody, I would use that extra money instead of paying off consumer debt, save for your taxes so that you're not going to be behind when it comes, and then start your debt snowball. But maybe, and for some people, the taxes may not even be as much, and maybe you have some extra left over from the savings that you can throw and kind of get started on paying off that debt. Does that help?
Yeah, because I've for my whole life, Rachel, I've been trying to learn everything on my own. And honestly, I've been listening to you guys the last 3 years since I started the job at the hospital that I've been doing. So just trying to do this on your own is kind of difficult, and I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing, going down the right path for myself and for the future.
Absolutely, Cody. Well, yeah, you're doing an amazing job, and so I know that it can kind of feel like a lonely journey, and when you're just trying to put all the pieces together on your own, that it can seem overwhelming. So I'm so glad that you called, and but that is the answer. Make sure to save up for that the taxes first before the debt.
Yeah, because I'm not messing with the IRS.
I know.
Oh my gosh. You do not want to mess with the IRS because they can garnish your wages. They can do so many things when you owe them money. It is not fun. Plus, dealing with them is
exhausting.
Pain in the you-know-what.
Yeah, and speaking of taxes, our protocol, or what we recommend to people, is if you can kind of get that zero in a sense where you don't owe a ton and you're not getting a huge refund, that's ideal, because I think that's a little bit of an emotional misconception, Jade.
Absolutely.
That as we're entering tax season, when people get a tax refund, they're like, oh, it feels so good, free money. And it just kind of feels like, oh, we can go and spend and enjoy this. And it's like this newfound money when it's your money. It's your money, extra money that was sent to Washington. And so be looking. And even if this is maybe your first year listening to us and doing taxes and all of it, maybe you do get a big refund, right? But I want you to take note of that and change your withholdings in your paycheck so that next year that's not the case. Because ideally, again, we don't want the government to owe us money, because that's money that's sitting in Washington that's not making any, where it could be invested or paying off debt or using it as a tool.
Absolutely. And I'm with you on that.
And owing money is hard too, Jade. Can I say that? Last year that happened to us, and I'm like,
owing money?
It's the worst feeling where you're like, I have to write a huge check, because I know, obviously I have to, it's taxes, but you're like, oh man.
Yeah. I feel like it's a little easier with small business, or in his case, 1099, just setting aside that little bit. It's pretty easy to calculate out what it's going to be. And if you pull that out of each check, you can pretty much end up
pretty right on. Yeah,
pretty much
awesome.
Right on.
So great. All right, up next we have Jonathan in Tampa. Hey, Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So my wife and I are longtime Dave Ramsey followers. We completed FPU in 2014, and we're getting into some fun problems, I guess, if I could word it that way. Yeah. We're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We are at a point where we owe $120 left on the house. So we're paying it down aggressively. If we stay on our current plan without adding any more additional funds, we'll be done, done here in May of 2026 will be our final house.
Wow, awesome.
So exciting.
Yeah, we're pumped. We have some money aside right now that our emergency fund just kind of keeps unexpectedly growing. We don't intend for it to. We're working the zero budget, the zero balanced budget every month, but I got some bigger bonuses this year. So with this extra money, we could, in theory, pay a lump sum into fully funding our kids' college funds. Mm-hmm. But I feel so close to paying off the house that I selfishly want to pay off the house. And we still have a lot of time with our kids. They're 6, 4, and 12 weeks old.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
What should we do here?
I'm the one that likes to work the baby steps in order, because obviously you are doing 4, 5, and 6 simultaneously. So, and it's good that you have the money. You're investing the 15%. You don't have to fully fund 5 all at once. You can still put some towards the house. I just don't want you skipping over 5 to go to the house. Yeah.
Do you have any savings in the college savings at all right now?
Yeah. We have a 529, and we live in Florida. In most states, I wouldn't recommend doing doing a prepay, but Florida has a pretty aggressive tuition prepay that we're in for our oldest right now.
Yeah, and I think because of your kids' ages, Jonathan, I think you'd be okay to be more aggressive towards the house because you guys are going to have time
Absolutely.
to save up for the kids' college. So yeah, Baby Step 5 is not fully fund. You don't have to like fully fund the kids' college.
Being intentional.
Now, if they were 17, I would probably have a different answer for you. But since they're so little, I would say you can be more aggressive towards the house. Maybe throw a little in the 529s just to keep them going.
Keep it going.
But besides that, I think you're doing great, Jonathan. I'm excited for you. May of 2026, we're cheering you on. This is The Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
So it's the time of year that we get flooded with calls because everyone's looking just to have a fresh start with their money, maybe create some new habits, break old habits, and especially since it's been a tough couple of years. So if that's you, you can't just wish that things are going to change. You guys, you can't just sit there and wish and expect things to be different and things just to happen. You're the one that has to do different things with your money. You have to have a plan, and that plan we teach in Financial Peace University. So this is the course that will help you rethink how you manage your money. You'll learn step by step on how to pay off debt and build wealth, and nearly 10 million people have taken FPU and have followed this plan, and it works. So when you intentionally follow the plan with intensity, again, this could be a totally different year for you. You know, you could be in a different money situation when you look up this time next year. So start Financial Peace University right now at daveramsey.com/FPU. That's ramseysolutions.com/FPU. And FPU, Jade, for you guys was a huge
game
changing
changer.
point for you.
Oh, yeah. I tell people all the time, if you don't do anything else, just get signed up. I mean, it will change your life. It'll change your money. It'll bring your relationship closer if you're married.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, there's so many positives that you can take away from it, you know?
I love it.
Possibilities are endless, people.
Yes. So one thing, Jade, I feel like we both enjoy good social media. And
yes.
And now that it's everywhere all the time, there's a lot of people giving financial advice out there. And so we always have a good chuckle.
It's like I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Like, you were saying earlier, like, Rachel, I keep seeing this thing. So I was like, well, let's talk about it, Jade.
Okay, so, I mean, we're in the finance space. So, you know, the people that you follow tend to be in your same world. Even if you don't have the exact same views, it's like, okay, like I follow other money people. And I got to tell you, Rachel, there's somebody that I follow and it's just so frustrating to me because a lot of her posts are about women having their own finances separate from their men, but it's in a way that's a little bit secretive, right?
Yeah.
And okay, don't get me wrong. If you're not married and you're just living together or it's your boyfriend, yes, keep your money separate. But if you're married, I believe that you should work together with your finances. You should combine things. And I know that this person's point of view, like I know like their background, they were hurt in a relationship and all this, but I just feel like the advice is not where it needs to be. And I, as a married person, you know, keeping money aside, secretive, for me, that's towing the line there, you know, that's keeping secrets and like keeping all of your assets in your name. I mean, what's the message that's sending? The message is, I don't trust you. I don't see a for sure future here. So I'm just going to keep mine over here in my pocket and my account and you don't touch it. Is that really the footing that you want your relationship to be on? I mean,
And what I think a lot of these people, I think you may have said this earlier, that it's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
It's living in a lot of fear.
Yeah.
And again, are there situations that you want to be smart, right? If there's, we talked to someone that came out of a domestic abuse situation, right? If there's something like that going on, or an addiction, I mean, there are these points that, okay, I'm going to be smart. But overall, you guys, for majority of couples, working together, it's amazing the level of communication that's created.
Yes.
The level of trust that happens, and just the oneness of marriage that you're experiencing even with your money.
And the facts tell us that. I mean, there's studies that say couples who communicate openly about money tend to feel that they're on the same team. It says, quote, feeling like you're on a team together with your partner promotes relationship satisfaction. And so I do think that there's a way as a woman, because we're all talking about all the woman things today, there is a way to feel like you have, and not to feel like it, but to actually have equal footing, equal say, and God forbid if something happens, you don't get left out in the cold.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
Rachel? I mean, for me, it's knowing what's going on with your money, making sure that you are combining everything, making sure that if you're purchasing a house, it's not just in his name, it's in your name too. Making sure that if there's retirement accounts, you're the beneficiary on everything. So for me, it's more of approaching the money in a way that I know exactly what's going on. I'm not ignorant to the situation. I know what's going on, as opposed to I'm just going to have my life over here and, what have you. And I know for me, when I first got married, I was the woman that was kind of the other end of the spectrum that was like, la da 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 da, I don't know what's going on. I don't care. He brings in the money, and I really thought like, oh, ignorance is bliss.
Right,
but ignorance is not bliss. It is broke.
Yes.
And you will end up broke, and then you won't even know how you got broke. So I can't say it enough. The solution to the problem is not going off on your own and being secretive with money, hiding your money, having secret accounts. I'm not against having your own piece of money out of the budget, right? Like having a line item. I mean, I have line items, Jade's fun and Jade's hair and Jade's grooming. That's fine, and I don't have to tell Sam, okay, I spent $12 on shampoo.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you have to be controlled, but I am saying that you should share your finances.
Yes, absolutely. Because the benefits, it's beneficial, right? If it was harmful all the time, then we'd probably have different advice, you guys. But the benefit of what we've seen day in and day out, and even we quoted 10 million people have gone through Financial Peace University, right? Like we work with literally millions of people that have done this plan, and it's one of the top comments that we get that our marriage feels closer.
Yes.
And there's something about it, you guys, of combining. So if you haven't yet, we encourage it. We really do. And I love that the science backs it up too.
It does. Have that conversation. Have those tough conversations.
For sure. Well, it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. Up next, we have Dustin in Memphis. Hey, Dustin, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great. How can we help?
Yes, so I've recently come into a good sum of money, and I'm trying to figure out what I should do with it.
Cool. How much?
A little over $300,000.
Woo! Where did that come from?
I've been playing the stock market since about 18 years old, and when COVID hit, I won it big.
I love that you're talking about this as though it's gambling, because that's exactly what it is. Oh my goodness. Oh, Dustin. Okay. Congrats on your windfall, and congrats on winning your lottery. That's amazing. So $300,000. Can you tell me a little bit more about your just overall income situation? Do you have debt? Like, tell me more. What's your income?
I probably have about $70,000 left on my house. I probably have about $25,000 left on my car. And that's about it. I have no other debt other than that. The job I do, I help operate and set up new locations for a certain restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I make about $35,000 after taxes every year.
Okay. Do you have a family?
Yes. I have, family as in just me, myself, and of course my mother and my brothers and sisters.
Okay. Yes, that does count as family. I should have said you have a wife and kids. Amazing. So, do you have any money in savings, by the way? I didn't ask that.
Currently, I pulled that out of the accounts, and that's in one of my banks. I've got a 6-month emergency fund as well as $10,000 in another bank that I don't touch.
Great job.
Very good.
Dustin, you're set up extremely well. So you're going to be cashing out these stocks. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I cashed out before it fell because my luck, it would fall out.
Yeah. So, what I would do is there's really 3 parts to what I would do here. I mean, definitely you're going to be able to pay off all your debt and become debt free. So I want you to do that. I want you to save some of it for that 6 months of emergency. So if there's any more that you need to add to that, I want to do that. And then I want to make sure that you're working with just a team of people to make sure that you're managing this money and that you're prepared for any taxes that you might need to pay on this, because it's a lot of money. And beyond
the tax has been paid on it. I've cashed this out a year ago.
Oh, okay.
I've been sitting on it since.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I have a question. What about retirement? Do you have is there anything that you're contributing normally to retirement at this point? Because if
I
not,
haven't started that just yet. I'm only 23 years old, so I'm trying to figure out what I should do next.
Okay, so we're paying off this debt. We're getting you set up with a great accountant, a great tax advisor, a great smart investor, and I want you to quit playing single stocks, and I want you to get invested in good growth stock mutual funds, okay? From now on, you're investing 15% of your income.
Absolutely. Yep. 401ks, Roth IRAs, Dustin, I think is right in your future. And congratulations, man. So young and doing it, but don't let that be a habit, because it doesn't always work out that way. Okay. So let's play it safe for retirement. But congratulations, Dustin. Well done.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
Our question of the day actually comes from Instagram, right, Jade? From you, from your DMs.
Yeah. Ashley came into my DMs and she sent me this question. I thought it would be great. So she says this. She says, I'm 28 years old. I'm a female who has been saving up for baby step 3B for the last year. I make $125,000 pre-tax, and I have $40,000 saved up for a down payment on my first home, in addition to a 6-month emergency fund. Congratulations. I recently started a relationship with a great guy 6 months ago, and I'm very excited for a potential future with him. He already owns a house and is debt-free aside from his mortgage. Here's my scenario. Do I continue renting and delay my home purchase, since marriage might be a possibility in the next few years? That's option 1. Option 2, do I end my lease and move into his home and pay rent to help with his mortgage? I'm going to say no to that one. And then option 3, or do I buy a home in 2023 like I was planning to before I met him, and just sell it and combine our finances if we do end up getting married in a few years? I want to make a relationally and financially sound decision. I appreciate your advice. This is good, Rachel.
It's a great question, Ashley. Yes. So from A, B, and C, definitely not B. We don't suggest moving in if you're not married. And so it gets messy with finances and all of it, and relationships and all of it. So, but would you continue renting and delay the home purchase, or go ahead and buy a home?
Here's me. Rachel, this is what I would do. And I base this off of life experience that was not my own. It was my sister's. She had met a guy, and she had already been planning to buy a house. But it was still early in the relationship. 6 months. 6 months is pretty early.
Yeah.
And so she was like, this is what I planned to do, and I have the money to do it. And she bought her house. And then they ended up getting married, and he ended up, that became their house. Now, there's some things to consider here that's not like in the fine print, like 6 months. That means a lot of different things for a lot of different relationships.
Right.
And I don't know how much she's like projecting. Like, I don't know where this relationship is. And I'm very much into like, do your own thing while you're your own person.
Yes.
What would you say? I don't know that the first one is not wrong.
No, it's not. It's hard. I mean, like if you guys, Ashley, were talking about marriage and there was a timeline and it was like, all right, fall of this year, we would love to, like, if you know it's coming, and you know it's coming, then delay it because you guys will move in. But if you just love him and you think he's great, but marriage hasn't been talked about, but it just feels like a great relationship, I would probably would continue to move on, because a house, ideally you keep it for 5 years is kind of our rule of thumb. But listen, worst comes to worst, you get married 2 years later, maybe you sell it. And you know what I mean? Like it's not the absolute end of the world. So it would all be based on your relationship, Ashley. Yeah. So again, if you guys have a timeline in place and you're really serious and you know it's it, he's ring shot. Like
if there was a ring involved, that would be the tipping point for me.
Yeah, things are moving. Then I would probably pause and just say, okay, let's just wait and see kind of how this all plays out.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, I love it, Jade. Keep being your own person while you're your own person, because you never know.
$125,000 income, $40K saved, 6-month emergency fund. My girl Ashley is killing the game right here.
She's killing the game. So good. Thanks, Ashley, for your question. And to the point that, follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
And DM us, because some of these questions, we're able to bring here on the show, which is always so fun to be able to answer your questions.
Love it.
Live on the show. But also we try to get in the DMs and talk to you guys and answer questions. So definitely reach out. All right, up next we have Brad in Fayetteville. Hey, Brad, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Hey, I had a question for you guys. I've had this conversation with my wife, but she's not quite a fan. So we pretty much paid off our credit cards except for one. It's low balance of around $400 on it. So we'll probably take care of that in the next couple of months completely. But really the only debt we have besides that is our house and her student loan, which I know now is our student loan. And it's at $41,000. So basically my question is, the house we are paying on, I still owe $111,000 on it. And when I look on Zillow, not sure how accurate it is, but it has it listed like could sell for around $186,000. So my question is, do we just stay in the house and continue paying on it and just kind of make payments on her student loan so we can get that down to zero, or should I sell the house and use what money I make on my house to put on our student loan to pay that off, and we just rent for a while?
How's the mortgage payment in regards to your income? Is it overwhelming at all, or is it within that 25% that we recommend?
Yes, we're within.
It's within, okay. Brad, yes, we don't recommend that you have to sell the house to get out of debt. If I were you, I probably wouldn't. You guys are in a great spot. How much do you make a year?
I'm right at $49,000. She's right at about $38,000 before taxes.
Okay, so I mean, in a perfect world, you guys could live off of her income and pay this debt off in a year, right? Or get some side hustles and get this debt knocked out. Yeah, selling a house. Again, you can do it, and people do it just to get out, and they just want debt free. But honestly, Brad, you don't need to. The house isn't the problem in this, and
I definitely
you guys
wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, because we were talking about this on a show the other day, Rachel, and I think this is good for you to hear too, Brad. When you have an asset that you can sell to pay off the debt, it's great. But there's something to be said for working that debt snowball. And if you love the house, if it's not more than what if you haven't bitten off more than what you can chew, it's expensive to sell a house and move and do all of that when you can just work the debt snowball and be out of debt in a year and a half and have 3 to 6 months starting to be saved. I like that plan.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. I just wasn't sure. We do love the house and we do love the spot we're in and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was just trying to, pay it all, get rid of that student debt
I
and
get
not
it.
incur all the interest in it and stuff. But
For sure. No, I understand how you got there, but we're on your wife's team, Brad. I think this call.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely let her know. She'll be happy about that.
I bet. Awesome. Thanks for the call. Yeah, that is a scenario people do bring up a lot. And listen, if your house payment is 50% of your income, if you're drowning in house payment, if your house poor, all of it, then your house is not a blessing, it's a curse. So get it out. Get it out of your life. But in a situation like Brad, financially, mathematically, it's a small part.
Yeah.
They were wise about it. They like the house. They like the area they're in. And so being able just to
work those baby steps.
Yes.
Work that debt snowball.
Because you mentioned it too, that there is, when we get people that get an inheritance, or even our last caller that had $300,000 in the market that he took out because he was playing stocks, and you're able to pay off debt in a big, clean sweep. Yes, amazing. We want you guys out of debt. But there is something to be said about the journey and the process. And Jade, you can speak to that because you guys, you and Sam, you did this so well over a long period of time. But there's something that happens to your character and who you are when you walk a journey like the debt snowball. And again, if you get handed, if you get an inheritance and you have debt paid off, like we want you out of debt quickly. But for those of you working it, just know it's doing something positive for your life, even though it feels like a lot of sacrifice.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, Rachel, there is so much purpose in that process. And if you can just buckle down and go through it, you will appreciate it. You will become a much better wife, husband, parent. You will have so much more confidence in what you have the ability to do, not just in money, but in life. I think that something really powerful happens when you set a goal, even if it's a lofty goal, and you're able to accomplish it. It creates this well within you of what you can draw from. So it's like, okay, I had this debt. We walked out the process. We were able to pay it off. And then you want to know what? The next time something difficult comes in life, that's that well that you can go back to and go, you know what? If I did that, I can handle this too. And there's just, that's invaluable to have in life.
Absolutely. And so walking that, yes, it requires sacrifice, maybe some more time, Brad, instead of selling the house and using that cash to just pay it off. But the journey, it's worth it, you guys. It is worth it. So well done. Thanks, Brad, for the call. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Now, most of us, we're glad that 2022 is over. It just felt hard enough to keep gas in your car and food in your fridge. Money's tight. And you're just wondering, oh my gosh, what happened? And we just want a fresh start to the new year. So you guys, you do not have to live through another year of stress and worry. That's one of the reasons tomorrow night we are hosting a free live stream called Building Wealth in 2023. And we want you to watch because we want to show you that you can still make progress on your goals, building wealth, and having peace even in a crazy economy. So during the event, you're going to hear from Dave Ramsey, George Camel, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, and myself, Rachel Cruz. And we're going to talk about how to set goals, create margins so that you can build wealth this year. We're going to talk about the market, what it means to have fear around the economy, what to do about it. And so we are so excited about this event. So if you want to register for free, go to ramseysolutions.com/wealth. That's ramseysolutions.com/wealth and enjoy that free live stream tomorrow night. All right, Jacob is up next in Saginaw, Michigan. Hey, Jacob, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you doing?
We are doing well. Thanks for the call. How can we help?
So my wife and I are in more debt than I ever thought I'd be in, and we are struggling with going forward with this and wanting to grow our family.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the debt situation. How much do you guys owe?
Around $200,000.
Okay. What type of debt is it?
$175,000 of it is in student loans.
Okay.
And we have my wife's car, then some credit card, and then some money that we owe my wife's parents.
Okay. So how much is all that? How much is the car?
The car is $14,500.
Okay. Credit cards?
$7,000.
Mm-hmm. And how much do you guys owe the in-laws?
$2,700.
$2,700. Okay. How much you guys make a year?
Together, $84,000.
Okay. And do you guys have kids now, or you're wanting to start a family? What's part of that?
Wanting to start a family.
Wanting to start a family. Okay. How old are you guys?
We are both 27.
27. That's great. Well, I want Jade to jump in here because she and her husband walked a really powerful story. But Jacob, I also want to tell you, just hearing you and your voice, you sound overwhelmed and tired, stressed, maybe even a little embarrassed and shameful. Like, I just want to encourage you that as you guys begin this journey, your future is so bright. You guys are young. You have time. You have ability. And what you guys have done in the past, and even though it feels so overwhelming and so stressful, I'm just telling you, doing this job for over a decade, this can change.
Absolutely.
And that's the really beautiful thing about this, Jacob, is that you guys have the ability to. And so, Jade, what kind of encouragement would you give Jacob as they start this? Because it feels like a lot.
I echo what Rachel said. You guys have time, and this does feel overwhelming. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of debt, but it doesn't mean it can't be cleaned up. And I know that you guys can work this plan. And also, your income's going to go up. You're 27 years old, your income's going to go up. And when it comes to the family side of things, if you're looking to start a family, like Rachel said earlier, do it. You don't have to wait until you're debt free, to start a family. So I kind of want to just give you the go ahead on that. And when it comes to this debt, let's just work this out. Okay. So are you just a listener, or have you had time to dive into the baby steps or total money makeover, or have you just learned about us through the show here on the radio podcast?
A coworker told me about the show in November, and I've been listening to the podcast and reading some books that I got for Christmas.
Okay. That's a great place to start. Before you get off the call today, we're going to make sure that you and your wife get Financial Peace University, because that's going to be what's really going to hammer home everything that we talk about on the air today. You're not going to remember everything. Yes, you can go back and listen to it, but Financial Peace is going to really go through this with you guys and get you on the same page and give you that hope that you need surrounding your situation. But for the time being, let me kind of just walk you through this so that you've got some hope when you get off the phone here with us today. So we're just going to boil this down into the easiest possible step, easiest baby step going forward. So do you guys have any money set aside in savings whatsoever?
We have $1,000.
Excellent. Okay. So you got baby step 1 accomplished. Check 1. Very good. And now after that, we're talking about paying off debt and baby step 2, using the debt snowball. But before I get into that, are you guys using a budget? Because you're going to need to be on a budget in order for this to be effective.
Yeah, we've been working through a budget the last month and a half or so.
Are you using every dollar or just something else?
There's spreadsheets that I make.
Okay, that's totally fine. Okay, so with your budget, how much are you able to, after you've just paid minimum payments on all of your expenses, after you've crunched everything down, right? Because we want to decrease lifestyle as much as possible. How much do you have to throw out your debt each month?
Right now, we have $1,100.
Okay. So we're going to just start with that $1,100, and we're going to start with the smallest possible debt. It looks like the family loan, $2,700. So you're going to be able to knock out a good portion of that, a third of that this month. And then you're just going to keep working down. Now, the thing with the debt snowball is you're listing them from smallest to largest. I know you've got student loans and you're probably thinking about interest rates. I know they're on pause right now, but listing the debts from smallest to largest, paying minimum payments on everything, and all the extra money that you can find, you're putting at that smallest debt. Now, here's the thing. I want you guys working, because you can only lower your expenses so much, right? You got to get your income up more too. And it doesn't have to be long term. It can be temporary, but we got to get out of debt. When my husband and I were getting out of debt, we paid off $460,000 of debt, Jacob. And we had our regular jobs, but we were moving heaven and earth to get as much money in our monthly budget as possible. I'm talking about training dogs and selling cupcakes and putting tint on windows. These are the things that we were doing to make money. And here's the thing, you don't have kids yet. And while you don't have kids, that's when you can get out and really get your hands dirty. I mean, this is the time of life where you can,
Jacob.
Yeah, you can be working until 2 and 3 in the morning. You don't have to worry about a baby screaming. So please, please, please take advantage of this. And I'm not saying don't start a family, but I'm saying you got 9 months at least.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, Jacob, it's about how quickly you're going to move this needle. So.
And we talk about gazelle intensity, Jacob, and you'll hear that in Financial Peace when you go through it with your wife. But there's the mindset of getting into debt is pretty easy, right? You sign your name to some paper, you're kind of just falling in, and it's just, we say you can wander your way in, but you cannot wander your way out. And so we talk about gazelle intensity because in Scripture it says, if you have signed surety, my son, do this. Deliver yourself like a bird from the hand of the fowler and a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. So that gazelle, when you have that picture of the Discovery Channel and watching a gazelle outrun a cheetah, the intensity, the strain, running for their life, that's the amount of intensity, Jacob, that I want you and your wife to be in. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to knock out this debt. And I know it's overwhelming. It feels like a lot, $200,000. But you guys can do this.
Yes.
You really can. But it's going to take a lifestyle that people are going to make fun of you. You're not going to do anything. You're really going to put all of your money towards this debt. You're going to be working extra, like Jade said. It's going to be a season of sacrifice, but it's just for a period of time. And then after, right, Jade?
That's right.
You and Sam, you're like, oh, when it's all done, you're like, okay.
Look, when the storm clouds finally part, you guys are going to be doing a happy dance like nobody else. You live like no one else now, and that means, an old busted car. It means selling things. It means working hard. But later, you're going to be able to live and give like no one else. You're going to change your life. You're going to change your family tree, and that change starts today. Jacob, change is a choice. You can do this, dude.
We're excited for you, Jacob. So stay on the line. Austin's going to pick up and give you a year membership at Financial Peace University. And Austin, go ahead and throw in just every dollar as well, because this is a great budgeting app that you and your wife can get on together. Both download the app on your phone, work from the same budget, and you guys got this, Jacob. And start the family. So thanks for the call. Jade, it's been a great hour hosting with you. Thanks to all the guys in the booth, and thank you, America.
Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.
Headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's the Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with our newest Ramsey personality, Jade. Good to be back with you.
It is good. We've had a good time, Rachel.
I know. It's been a great day. And so we are taking your calls. And it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. Talking about your money, your relationships, your jobs, everything, anything and everything. Jade and I are here for you. So to kick us off this hour, Maria in Orange County is up next. Hey, Maria, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I wanted to ask if it would be a good idea for my husband and I to start house shopping this year.
All right.
We are 22 and 23 years old, and together we make $100,000 a year before taxes.
Okay. Do you have any debt?
We have no debt, and we have $45,000 in savings, including our emergency fund. Yes.
Very good. You said 45,000 in savings?
Yes.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. So you're newly married, or how long are you married?
Yes, we got married last December, so we're 1 year in.
1 year in. Okay.
Awesome.
You know, this is good. This is starting to look good. So, you know, the way we teach it, you've walked up the baby steps, you're no debt. Looks like you've got the 45,000. Would you call that like 6 months of expenses, or between 3 to 6 months of expenses?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you're in prime time to start saving for your house, which we would call baby step 3B. So I don't want you to take the $45K and use that as your down payment, because technically that's your 3 to 6 month emergency fund. But I do want you to start saving. Have you done any research on what it would cost, you know, for what you're looking for in your area, home-wise?
Yeah, it's expensive.
I was about to say Orange County. Yeah. And Maria, I mean, after taxes, your take-home pay for you guys is what, more like 60?
That's true.
Right, yes, it's about 60.
Okay. Yeah, have you, I kind of cut you off, I'm sorry, from Jade's question, but have you guys looked and priced anything where your monthly payment would be around 25% of your take-home pay?
I haven't really done the math, but we were starting to talk to realtors, and they asked us the same question, and then they jumped right into, okay, well, we can go talk to a loan officer. So
yeah, they would.
How important is it for you to stay in Orange County? Like, are you guys open to places that are less expensive? Not necessarily, you know, I'm not saying that you got to move to Montana, but I'm just saying, are you open to areas that are, you know, counties that are less expensive, or, you know, tell me more about that.
Yes, we're open to moving not too far, maybe Riverside or Inland Empire, because both of our jobs are here in Orange County.
Okay. I mean, here's the thing. You're ready to start saving for the house, but, you know, the rules still apply, even in Orange County, even in the most expensive counties. You know, we want you on that 15-year fixed mortgage. We don't want it to be any more than 25% of your take-home pay. And the reason for that is we want you to be able to enjoy home ownership. We don't want it to be too much of your monthly budget, you know, to where owning a home becomes more of a burden than a blessing. So I think for you guys right now, Maria, it's just going to be about researching the area and really getting a clear bead on, okay, this is what we can afford, and this is what we're going to have to pay in order to make that happen. Like, you're going to have to really get a hefty down payment for sure. You know, I want you to be at 20%, avoid that PMI. I don't want anything else that's going to make home ownership any more expensive than what it needs to be, especially where you're located.
Okay.
And Maria, I would say too, maybe it's not a single family home. Maybe you guys look at a condo or a townhome or something, because you guys are still young, and maybe you want to start building equity. If all the math works and it's not just a standalone, you know, single family, there might be other options in the area just to build some equity and kind of get you in the game. I think would be another great option. But
that's a really good point, Rachel. You don't have to start at the top. You can build that real estate ladder.
Yes, I know. And I don't want to be Debbie Downer, Maria, and I'm not I'm not looking at the MLS of your area right now, but it kind of just sucks that $60,000 doesn't go very far in California.
Yeah.
And so I know you guys are probably feeling that. So I really do pray, though, that there's something, even in that area, if there is, that's amazing, or the surrounding areas, like Jade said, because you guys are in the perfect position, baby step-wise, financially, to purchase something, just making sure that it's not out. And I've heard it said, and it's just true, that, you know, numbers, they don't have emotions.
That's true.
We have emotions when we look at the numbers, but the numbers are the numbers. And so really, I would encourage you, Maria, you and your husband, to be disciplined when looking at the numbers, because it can be very easy to say, well, everyone's house payment here is 50% of their, I mean, we're in California. It's what happens.
And don't be in a rush. You guys have got time. You're married 1 year. Right. And I'm sure there's room for your income to go up. I mean, do you see a trajectory where you guys are, you know, earning more money in the next 3-5 years?
Yeah. So I just graduated from university this past May. So I just started my career, and my husband, he has 2 years in his career. So we're just starting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm pretty sure it's going to grow.
Yeah, it will. It will. But I think patience, Maria. But you guys have done a fantastic job thus far. I mean, looking at no debts. You guys are saving. You make great income.
Yeah.
That's not me saying you don't.
Right,
But,
right.
you know, so you guys have done a really great job. The foundation under you is really strong. And I would just say, yeah, be patient. Don't be in a rush. You're good.
time.
You have time. But looking at your options. But that's exciting. You know, home ownership is fun, and it's something. It's like the great American dream, right? I feel like it's one of those pieces to that puzzle that people talk about. But it is expensive when you own it. Everything now suddenly is on you.
That's true.
And it quickly can become very overwhelming if you're not wise. And you know, it's fascinating too. Like, and not in her case necessarily, but just our lifestyles, right? Our houses, our cars, the vacations we take, the clothes, like everything that funds our lifestyles day in and day out, sometimes is the thing that prevents us to doing what we really want. I was talking to a family and she like really wants to quit and stay home with the kids, but their mortgage payment won't let them. And so I'm like, move. There's something to the American dream I want to shake up to be like, yes, home ownership is great. We want everyone to own a home. It's smart, all the things.
Yeah.
But it's also not the end all be all either.
Definitely not. I think that's, again, back to the social media. I think sometimes social media and like just everything puts out there a picture of this is what you should have. And these are the things that should make you happy. But that's not necessarily, if that's not your priority, then that's not what's going to make you happy.
Yes.
If having a giant house, you know, is not your priority, but staying home with your kids are, you've got to shift towards what's really going to make it a life that you love.
I know, that's right. And it's not worth the stress either, right? So that's one reason we're such sticklers on that formula about buying a home is it's not worth the stress, you guys. It's not. And so at the end of the day, be wise, be smart. But Maria, I know you guys have a bright future ahead of you. You guys have been so diligent, so smart. So we are excited for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, you guys, welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Listen, if you are enjoying this show, if you love it, if it's part of your rhythm, share it with a friend, will you? That's one of the best ways to spread the word, because our jobs day in and day out, yes, is to come here in front of a microphone and talk about this stuff, but truly we want to see this level of revolution in America today. We want people to get control of their money for maybe the first time ever and be free from debt, have that control. And it's an amazing feeling when money doesn't have to be a stress point. And so that's our hope for everyone out there. And so if you're watching on YouTube or the podcast or the radio, please share it with your family, with your friends, because we want to get the word out to be able to continue to help people truly live like no one else, so later they can live and give like no one else. So on the show, Jade, we love to do some like reaction videos, right? On TikTok, Instagram, there's always some fun money videos out there that we see. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes before the show, we're like, oh, I'll do a quick watch. Or one of us sees it and finds it before the show to play it. But this clip, James came in during the break and we have not seen.
I'm scared.
And he's like, I really want you to see this clip live on the show. And
I'm
so we
scared
said,
of what we might find.
We said, okay, we are brave, courageous women, Jade. We can do this. But so we just heard it's about car loans. So that's all we know. All right, James, play the video.
Sir, what is your car payment?
Mine is $1,325.
And what kind of vehicle is that?
It's a 22 Ford Raptor.
Okay. You have another payment?
I do, actually. My wife's, hers is $1,000. It's a 22 Ford Expedition.
Perfect. Hey, ma'am, what is your car payment?
$1,386.
And what kind of car requires a $1,386 payment?
A 2022 Grand Wagoneer Series 3.
Hey, sir, what is your car payment?
I got a couple of them, but the First one's $1,445.
What kind of car is that?
That's a new GMC Sierra 2500 Denali.
Holy crap.
It's a wide body CTSV. That's $1,161.
Nice pick.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the video is a guy with a phone going through, and it looks like an office. I don't even know where they are, asking different people what their car payments are. So they're there on video.
It's a car dealership.
Oh, it's a car dealership.
It's the people that work at the dealership. These are their cars, James. Y'all, I can't speak, Rachel.
Talking about, holy crap. Can I say that? When I use an example, just use an example of a car payment on the show, and I'm like, yeah, a $500 car payment. Like,
well, yeah,
that feels big. We're talking in the thousands.
I was prepared to talk about the average car payment, which is like $717. I was prepared to yell at people for $717. My guy has a $1,400 for car one.
For one car.
One car.
For one car.
Oh, Lord.
So that's what's crazy is
I'm sorry. Rachel, I'm sorry.
Give us some vibes, James.
Oh,
you got this. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. Rachel.
Go, Jay. Just go. What is happening? Go.
These people are dumb. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Rachel, you are so kind. And you need to pray for me right now because this is, I've lost my words. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. 13, 14, 1,200 on cars, on one vehicle. You are stealing. You are robbing from your future. You're robbing yourself. I said it before the break. I said, Rachel, the car payment, that is the thing. That is the gap that keeps the middle class from becoming and building wealth.
Because if you invested that car payment, what it would be. It would be.
If I was prepared, like I said, I was prepared to talk about the average car payment, $717 for one person. And if you invested that money just over 30 years at a 10% rate, that's over $1.4 million.
Yep.
$1.4 million. And then I thought, okay, because the little article that we had here was talking about how, people are shelling out more than $1,000 a month on their cars. And I'm like, okay, well, $1,000 invested for that same term, over $2 million. $2 million.
That you can have.
$2 million. And we hear all the time, Rachel, people, today in today's economy, it's impossible to get $1 million. It's impossible to get ahead the way my bank account is set up. No, the way your bank account is set up is with you spending all that you own. A stupid person spends all that they get. That's a paraphrase from what the Bible says. A foolish man spends everything he gets. Y'all are spending everything you get on a car note. For what? For it to be parked in a parking lot outside in the rain while you're inside heating up your lean cuisine in the microwave. You're not even getting to drive it because you're working all day. What? Rachel, tell me to go away because
I'm not telling you anything,
I need to go under the desk right now.
No, you don't. No, because here's the deal. It's the truth. And what's hard is that we hear day in and day out the struggle that people are in.
Yes.
And the problem is for a lot of people, I'm not going to blame this on everyone, but for a lot of people, it is the amount of debt that they carry.
Yes.
So then you narrow it down to a car loan, which in my opinion, I told you this at the break, I'm like, it's the hardest. It's the hardest piece of debt for me to justify in my head. Because people can say a student loan, my degree, it's going to get me a job or this or that, whatever. But a car loan is an asset that goes down in value.
It goes down.
And it's a thing that just gets you from point A to point B.
Yes.
And you don't have to have it, right? You don't have to have this like luxurious thing. And then on top of that, going into debt, having that payment where you could be wise and thinking about future self. Yes. And investing that instead and still having a great car. Like, I'm not talking about you have to drive a Beater your whole time. You can still have a great car, but you actually save up and pay for it. You own it. So there's a sense of ownership that other people don't own your future and own your life.
That's right.
And there is something about that car payment, the car loan, that whole debt. It is a mindset shift. And when you said it keeps the middle class.
It does.
There.
Look, we know, and I'm sure this stat, this stat is changing all the time, but the last time I wrote it down, 61% of people living to paycheck. I think I saw one recently that said like 73% of people living paycheck to paycheck. And I did the math on this. I looked at a couple of stats and it said 43% of people have some sort of car loan, like car loan through the bank. And then the other 25% of people have leases, not like, the typical loan. So if you add that number up, Rachel, that is suspiciously close to the 61% that are living paycheck to paycheck. And y'all are wondering why you don't have any money out here.
And the magic of the $1,100 that's back of margin in your budget month to month, if you didn't have that payment, that paycheck to paycheck stat would be totally different.
It'd be totally different. The paycheck, the car note, Rachel, is keeping American people living paycheck to paycheck. It is keeping you broke. Now, we've yelled and we have given myself high blood pressure and all of the things. My armpits are sweating.
I love a Jade Rants. It's my favorite.
Let's talk about what you can do instead. Let's talk. You guys know, y'all know my story. Can I please just tell you guys, especially, and I have to mention this because culture now is very work from home. Work from home culture, 2020 did that. Sam and I sold our second vehicle back in, what was it, Sam, 2010? And we were a one-car family from 2010 until basically 4 months ago. One car. If we did it, and can I tell you the amount of money we saved, Rachel?
And two kids. Yes. So what does that look like, Jade? Like walk people through, because people are hearing you and they're thinking, no, because I need a car just to get da-da-da-da. Like I grew up as a one-car family.
Yeah.
And so
it's all like what you said earlier. It's formatting your brain to go, what do I value? The world tells us we need 2 cars and they need to be brand new cars. But what do you value? I valued being debt-free. My husband valued being debt-free. And for us, at the time, we had a Hummer, an H3 Hummer, and the payment was like $457 a month. We had a Jeep Liberty. It was $303 a month. We sold the Hummer. We were upside down on it, so we had to take out a small loan for like $2,000 or $3,000. But it freed up over $25,000 of debt for us. So we did that, and we worked on one car. We paid off that one car. And do you know what we have now, Rachel?
Money, Jade.
Money and a paid off car. And then we bought our next car. We took those payments, added them up, paid for our next car in cash. And that's how you do it, folks.
That's it. Not much more to say, Jade. Well done. Well done. This is The Ramsey Show. We talk about wills a lot on this show because everyone needs one, okay? It's a basic adult responsibility, and there's just no good excuse not to have a will. We also recommend an online will because it's fast, it's cost effective, and it's just a great way to get you taken care of if you don't have a will right now. But there are a lot of questions asking, okay, is a simple will online, is that for everyone? What if you need a trust? What kind of powers of attorney do you need? Or a mirror will, right? There's some specifics in there. So if you have some of those questions, our team actually built a quiz to help you find the right options for you. You'll get custom results based on basic info, like if you're married or single, where you live, even the size of your estate. And then you'll be able to understand exactly your specific situation, and we'll be able to help you decide, okay, what's the next best step for you when it comes to getting a will. So take the quiz online again to kind of figure out what kind of will you need to protect you and your family's wishes. So visit RamseySolutions.com/wills quiz, RamseySolutions.com/wills quiz, and take that and check it out and see what your result is, because again, everybody needs a will. All right, up next is Debbie in Las Vegas. Hey, Debbie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Jade. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, my husband's going to be retiring at the end of this month. We've been following Dave Ramsey for 26 years and done very well. But now I'm concerned, we're going to keep his 401ks and IRAs in a very conservative portfolio. But mine is pretty aggressive, and I'm wondering if I should stay aggressive. We're 10 years difference in age.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 57.
57, okay. At what age are you thinking about retiring?
Good question. If it was my choice, it'd be now. But I'm going to continue working for the health insurance and so forth. So I'm hoping about 62 I'll be retiring.
Okay. Perfect. Well, what kind of funds? Are you in like aggressive growth funds? Do you know the specifics, the categories specifically that yours are in? You said aggressive, but...
Yeah, I've kept a bit in cash. My husband is a little leery of the stock market. He's seen it go up and down so much, and he has anxiety about it. So we have a large amount in cash, but I have about $150 in cash, and then the rest of my portfolio, which my funds are about $650,000. I have it split 25% with growth and income, aggressive growth, and international.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
That's great.
It's exactly what we teach. So how much so you said your cash and what you have in investments, what does he have? I'm curious.
He has about $1 million in his 401ks and IRAs.
Great. Oh, wow. Amazing. So you guys are everyday millionaires, Debbie. You've done it.
Well, we are. That's why we followed Dave. And he's, 26 years of following his
Debbie,
lessons.
What's making you say that yours are, you said that, well, my investments are very aggressive. What's making you say that? Because you've got the perfect split. You've got it invested exactly the way we would say it is.
Yeah, I'm just worried that, given a shorter time frame where I'm looking at 62 years, should I start going back, winding that down a little bit? And I would like to keep money in our portfolio to give to our kids. We do have 6 children and 7 grandbabies that I'd like to, leave something for them. So I don't want to. I'm hoping not to have to touch the 401k.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in that sense, I think maybe I could stay aggressive.
Yes, yeah. Especially if you guys. So you said he has $1 million in his 401k, and is he going to be taking money out? I know you said he's leery of the stock market. Is he planning on taking that all out when he retires next month? What's his plan with that $1 million?
No, actually, he's got a couple pensions. So
okay.
We also have a fully paid for house.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Fully paid for cars. And then we set aside, knowing that he was going to be retiring, we have a little over $200,000 in a savings account that we hope to, if we need to draw out because he's not going to draw Social Security until age 70. So
okay. Wow.
We were hoping that savings could bridge us to that.
This is how it's done, Rachel. Debbie, you guys are killing it.
Well done, Debbie. Yeah. So for your situation, like you said, you're not even probably going to have to touch your 401k, even his investments. You guys are at a place that, even though he's entering retirement, I especially wouldn't take anything out now. If you guys had run the numbers and you're like, we want to start withdrawing
right.
to retire and all of that.
They don't need it.
But at this point, I think you're good, Debbie. So I would recommend still staying in it. We're talking about this actually with our Building Wealth event tomorrow night, and looking at the market. And we did a lot of the content, Debbie, for that tomorrow night. For me specifically, is looking at these graphs of the S&P 500 over even the last 50, 75 years, and you watch it go up and down. But when you have the perspective and span out, you really do see the trajectory. Though it's an upward tick. It goes up and down in times, and we're kind of in a down. But I might be Pollyanna, but I might believe in the American economy enough to know we're going to come back from this, right?
That's the track record, Rachel.
Yes, and so when you look back on the pattern of that, Debbie, that's what gives me confidence, even though the conspiracy theorist in me my mind can go that way sometimes, but
don't say that because her husband's gonna
but my logical brain would say to look at the pattern of what's happened, Debbie. So I think you're good, and you guys are not in a rushed position to take the money out. I would just continue what you're doing, and I'm telling you, Debbie, in 5 years we're going to be having a different conversation.
Man, I'm so proud of you guys. I'm looking at you guys going, This is living like no one else right here. Very good.
Okay, Debbie, real quick before I let you go. Mm-hmm. People are listening now that are possibly new listeners. They're starting this journey. They're in their 20s and they're thinking, oh my gosh, is this worth it? You're on kind of the other side, Debbie, right? You guys have done this. You've done the work for over 20 years. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. What just piece of advice or encouragement can you give our listeners for working this journey? Because you guys have done it and you've won.
Yes.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, when we got married 26 years ago, he brought 3 children into the family. I brought 3. So it was a split family. So we knew we had odds against us for making that marriage work, but we were determined to do it. My husband looked at me right after we got married. We'd been married maybe 3-6 months, and he says, "Hey, I want to try this. I've listened to Dave Ramsey. I want to try this envelope system." I looked at him and I said, I'm not doing that. And he says, "Give me 3 months." So we sat down, got the envelopes, wrote on the front of every one of them, and we've never looked back.
Man.
Every dollar has a name. I keep the budget up every month. We review it every month. We've never fought over finances, and that's just been, such a great situation, and we're teaching that with our kids as well. They still have that little wild hair where they want to go out and buy the new car, and we're like, no. You can't do that. So, we have to let them stumble a little bit.
Oh, for sure,
and that's the tough part.
Well, that's amazing, Debbie.
We've done that.
Amazing work. Well, you guys have done exactly what you need to do, and the results are there. So, yeah, to answer the question why you called, we would say just stay where you are, keep going, especially since you guys don't necessarily even have to, withdraw from your 401ks right now even. So you're doing great, Debbie. Just keep at it, even though it's a little bit scary right now, right? You're hearing the news and people on Facebook all freaking out about what's going on. But just stay the course. The only person on the roller coaster that gets hurt is the one that jumps off.
That's right. You haven't lost any money until you cash it out.
That's right. Amen, Jade. Amen. But
Baby steps millionaires, Rachel. I love that. That was encouraging to me, I have to just say, because, we're in the marathon right now.
Yes, that's
right.
right.
And I love those calls because it's just reaffirming that we know this works. We know that if you stay the course, like you said, if you keep your shoes laced up and you keep running the marathon, you end up like Debbie and her husband.
That's right. You end up seeing that finish line. And that's what's amazing. And I think it's so easy to get distracted in the world today, right? There's like shiny things here or exciting things there. Do this. And even though it sounds boring and it's like, what? There's nothing exciting about your 401k and your Roth IRA. Is that it? But I'm telling you, it just that diligence, year in and year out, over time. I always tell myself, I'm like, okay, 60-year-old Rachel is going to be so thankful.
Yeah, your future self.
The 30s, in my 30s, that you continue it, because it's just the payoff is there. And even though there's some down years, you guys continue the race. Thanks, Debbie, for the call. We'll be back. Our scripture of the day comes from Proverbs 5:20 and 21. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Every generation laughs at the old fashions, but follows religiously the new. Henry David Thoreau.
I like that.
Man.
That's like what George says.
Good stuff. George Camel.
Yeah, like when he says if you follow the trends, you fall for the traps.
Yeah,
I feel like that's all right, George. You're a thespian.
That's right. We were just talking about how people are like, 401ks and Roth IRA, they're boring. They laugh at those old-fashioned Jades, but man,
it works.
It works for a reason. Well, I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with our newest Ramsey personality, Jade, and we are taking your calls, America, at 888-825-5225. All right, up next we have Joy in Watertown. Hey, Joy, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you ladies?
We are doing well. How can we help?
Great. All right. So before I ask my question, I'll just give you a little context. But my husband and I, we are on baby step 2. He is in the Army active duty, so I stay home with our children and I homeschool them. And just recently, we have found out that we're expecting our third. And that's great news.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you. But the struggle that's been there is this first trimester has not been easy for me. And I'm afraid that it may mess with like our food budget because it entails with me wanting to like not cook from fatigue. And I figure it'd be perfect to call you ladies because I know you both are mothers. And I really want to honor our budget and get out of the student loan debt we're in. But how do I do that when, like, all I want to do is go to Buffalo Wild Wings every day?
Girl.
I feel you.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Well, number one, thank you for your husband and his service and your service as well, Joy, being a spouse here while your husband is deployed. So, man, okay, how far along are you?
So we found out a few weeks ago, so I'm 8 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm in like the thick of the morning sickness and all of the fun stuff.
Yes. So, I mean, realistically, if I can go back to my pregnancy days, you may have about 2 more months of this exhaustion. So I would be okay, Joy, for 2 months, just knowing your reality, because part of the budget is the reality of your life, right? Like we tell people, like, don't go and try to budget $75 for food. You're never going to hit that. Like, that's stupid to even try to do that. So if you're in a position, especially and he's deployed right now, right? Is that what you said?
No, he's not deployed. He's active duty, although he will be soon.
Okay.
But he's in this first trimester, he won't be.
He's here. Okay, that's good.
Yes,
that's good.
Here.
So I was going to give you even more grace if he wanted to be like, I get it. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. So I would say as much as you guys can plan the food, because the food budget is always the thing that gets people.
It does.
And again, I want you to speak in because Jade does so much of this stuff, especially on Instagram, which is amazing. But just hear me say, Joy, if it's 2 months of adding in a little bit more because you just know the situation, but it's going to stop after 2 months, right? Like you see that end point. I would give you some grace in that for sure. But also, I think there's a way that you don't necessarily have to do that, and you can plan and have a meal plan and do some things that are easy cooking that can still stay within the budget.
I agree. I'm with Rachel. I mean, the fact is sometimes like mamas want what mamas want. And sometimes you just, you find yourself at Dairy Queen, at 10 p.m. But, I do think there's some things that you can do practically that don't involve you, paying that premium of going to a restaurant. And I think at the grocery store, as much as you can, and I normally wouldn't recommend this, but as much as you can buy like prepackaged things, like if your thing is wings, like buy a prepackaged bag of wings that all you have to do is like throw them on the sheet pan, put them in the oven or put them in the air fryer. And as much as you can on that one day, that those few hours that you're feeling good, as much as you can meal prep a couple of things. So if it's like, all right, I'm going to like make this ground beef right now and I'm just going to put it in things so that when I'm hungry, I can quickly put it on some tortilla chips and eat some nachos. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you have to eat chicken and broccoli, but if you have those pregnancy cravings that you can quickly open up the fridge, it's already sitting there in a Tupperware, it's frozen, you made your chili the night before, you've got your chili frozen, you got your wings that are in there, you've, whatever those favorites are that you have, you've got an apple pie, in the deep freeze. That as much as you can do those things, you keep your own ice cream at the house so you don't have to go to Dairy Queen. Yeah. That makes a big difference.
It really does. And let me say this, Joy. Someone said this to me years ago as a mom, and it was it seemed like such simple advice, but it was so freeing for me. So all the moms out there, she was like, every dinner does not have to be this beautiful gourmet dinner. Oh. Sometimes it's just sandwiches. Like sometimes it's peanut butter and jelly, and it's like, Rachel. And we're going. So I also want to give you permission. Don't feel bad, because I think moms can take on that level of responsibility of like, okay, we need to eat healthy, we need to eat organic, it needs to be gluten-free, and everything needs to be homemade, it's like all this stuff. And sure, there's a place for that, right? But overall too, like, it's okay. It's okay that some nights it's like, listen, we're doing cereal, we're doing eggs and bacon and
breakfast for dinner.
Yes. But it's like things don't have to be, you don't have to have this perfect spread every night. So give yourself
a vegetable and
a lot of grace, a lot of grace, Joy, a lot of grace.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's one of my meal planning things. I'll tell you this real quick. I always tell people, I'm like, if you're trying to meal plan, cook four, no more. That's what I say. I cook 4 things, and then I double the recipe and I freeze it. And that way I'm good, not only for that week, but I'm good for the next week because I've got, or, weeks to come because there's stuff in the freezer. And then when it comes to recipes, keep it simple. I mean, I'm talking like 2-3 ingredients sometimes.
Yep.
3-4, there's nothing wrong with, getting a piece of French bread from the bakery and putting some sauce on it and some cheese and making a French bread pizza for dinner. I like Rachel's thing of peanut butter and jelly. If somebody gave me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich tonight, I would be I would go to sleep a happy woman.
That's right. I know, but it is so funny that I felt that. And I remember talking to a French, like, we're just doing sandwiches for dinner. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's an option. Yes. Like on a hard day, like that's an option. Yes. And it's good. So free yourself from that, Joy.
Free yourself.
And good luck. And I pray, all health and stuff for the baby and delivery and pregnancy and all the things.
Yes.
For that third. That's so great. But
I love that.
But food, it's the number one budget buster. It's the place that we tell a lot of people even to cut with restaurants. And you've done so much, Jade, on especially Instagram about figuring out, hey, what are healthy, good healthy meals.
Yes.
But also quick and easy. All of it. So
yeah, for me, it's all about being realistic. Because if you don't like to cook, then don't plan on cooking like this elaborate meal. Like choose recipes that's like, okay, I will actually put in the work to do this. This is something that we'll actually eat. I think so much of it is being realistic. And from my point of view, it's about, for this season of my life, because that's another part of it, picking things that I can pre-cook, keep them in the freezer, pull them out when it's ready, because your girl is not trying to cook when she gets home. Literally this whole week has been about me grabbing whatever was in the freezer the night before, putting it in the fridge. So when I get home, all I have to do is dump it in the pan, heat it up, put the rice. I pre-cook rice. I do so many portions of rice and do them ahead of time. So many portions of quinoa and do them ahead of time. I pre-cut and steam the different vegetables ahead of time, and they're already there, ready to go.
Yes.
And it really takes the guessing out of it for me. It's like the other night we were coming home and I thought, oh, we could stop at Chick-fil-A. I could pick up salads. And I was like, I already have food
already
and
there.
It's things that we like. So it kind of just simplifies it, and it makes life a lot easier. And I got to say, a lot healthier, because
That's right. And the saving money on that side. Like I think it was George that had a video about the average meal when you cook at home.
Yes.
What it is versus out to eat. And and you just look at the numbers, you look at the stats, and you're like, man, it is so expensive. And for a family of 5, like when we go out, I'm like, even to Chick-fil-A,
it's painful.
I'm like, I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, it feels. Because it's so much. Yeah. It is so much. So
you can spend $50 at Chick-fil-A if you're not.
Easily.
It's $70 if you're not careful.
Oh, easily. Like it's wild. So all of you on the journey of getting out of debt, cutting the restaurants, eating at home is a great jump start to freeing up some margin in your budget. Jade, great hour.
So fun.
Love hosting with you. Thank you to all the gentlemen there in the booth, and thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.